Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Caravan of Garbage. We did the first Mortal Kombat, and people were like, do the second Mortal Kombat. We were going to do it anyway. We're doing it.
But we pretended. Like, we were like, let us know what you want us to do.
Do you want us to do it? We had to fill a week.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't want to watch this movie.
No, it's bloodless. It's weak.
Pathetic.
It's sad.
And yet...
More expensive.
Was it really?
Yes.
Wow.
We can talk about it.
Well, I was going to say, James, it's a wonder what a good night's sleep will do for you. Because I watched this, and although it's a very bad movie, I'm like, I love the New Line Cinema aesthetic.
Crap.
Yes.
I mean, before they did Lord of the Rings.
They did Lord of the Rings.
They did Dungeons and Dragons,
well, not the good stuff there. Not the, like, Nightmare on Elm Street stuff.
Yeah.
The original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Everything's either set in the dark or in a desert.
Sure, okay, yeah.
Just weird keyed-in lightning bolts all the time. You know what I mean? It all feels weirdly cramped no matter where it's set.
Very true.
The blue screen's bad.
Yeah, it really is.
It's just people knocking around in very cheap costumes. Either having an absolute ball or the worst time in their lives.
Absolutely. I'm thinking of Jeremy Irons from Dungeons and Dragons when I think about that.
Destiny!
Yeah.
And just that middle of the road era where they're like, well, we should dress the characters up like their versions in the video game. Because
I'll leave a like.
Yeah.
I got to put that in.
That's right. We got to be authentic, but at the same time, like Queen Sindel, the newly resurrected undead or wizardess queen from another dimension, is wearing just some like purple lycra.
Yes.
She got down at the gym,
Yeah, that's good stuff.
God, I enjoyed this experience, although it's bad. Yeah.
This was atrocious. Like
Yes.
this wasn't even for me. It wasn't even like so bad it's good.
Well, for me, I'm not normally a so bad it's good kind of guy, but this tipped over the line for me.
Oh my god!
There's a moment where James Remar replacing
Yes.
Christopher Lambert as Raiden in this, and he's had his newly shorn hair.
Oh my god!
And he's just him and like a random ninja dude. Well, not him, but just a stunt man pretending to be him. They're just trading spin kicks in the air and not connecting, and I'm like, oh, that's the stuff.
It really is,
That
isn't
is
it?
the stuff.
So Paul W.S. Anderson, who directed the first movie, he was offered to return, but he chose to make Event Horizon instead, which is an incredible horror movie.
I thought you were going to say he chose to make an omelette instead. I can't come in. I'm making
Good
this
choice.
omelette.
Yeah. So he actually expressed dislike for this film and regrets that he chose not to be involved, and it's one of the reasons he remained so hands-on with the Resident Evil series. He kept kind of dipping back into that franchise.
He lived in fear that if he stopped making a Resident Evil movie for even a moment,
somebody would make it.
they'd nab him, he'd be bundled into an unmarked van with no windows, and they'd drive him to set, and he'd be like, why am I at this weird rotten stone temple? Oh, they're making me make a Mortal Kombat movie.
Speaking of stone temples.
Yes.
So it picks up right after the last movie. There's been some changes.
Some cast have been switched in it. Again, I'm loving that. I love that they didn't have somebody go, oh, this magic is changing me. I've been changed into a... They were just like, Sonya and Johnny Cage are there, but they're different actors
They're
now.
different,
Who cares?
yeah.
Raiden's... Who cares?
Also, if I recall correctly, and I don't really, because we recorded the first one, full disclosure, like quite a while back, Shao Kahn, like, I've come for your souls. He comes out of the whatever. And here he's just like a dude. Like, he's just like a normal sized guy.
There's a moment in this where we see him in his Outworld headquarters.
Yeah.
And there's no transitional moment where he's wearing the helmet and he takes it off. It's just him, just a bald man in a throne. And I'm like, who's this guy?
That's the alien bounty hunter from the X-Files television series.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Where's your spring-loaded syringy thing, you dumbass? What I enjoyed about this a lot is that obviously in the last one, the villain was Shang Tsung, the sorcerer, and he's finally defeated. And
He's terrific, by the way.
Yeah.
Can't remember whether we said he was how terrific he was. I hope we did, because just terrific, especially compared to this.
That's right. But what I liked is that at the end of that one, oh no, he's been defeated, but his master, this ultimate powerful overlord, warlord man, just appears in the sky, and it's, but in this one, they immediately undermine it because his dad's there as well.
He's dad. And
he's just
also
like, Dad, am I doing a good job, Dad?
And that guy's also Raiden's dad.
Yeah, that's
he's
right.
both of their
Spoiler
dads.
alert.
Yeah. So,
that's Shinnok, I guess.
Maybe it is.
I think it's supposed to be Shinnok.
Well, then they nailed it, didn't they?
They did.
I don't know a lot about Mortal Kombat, but I'm 100% sure that looks fucking nothing like Shinnok. So anyway, story-wise, the worlds are merging or something. And like you said, some of our favorites are back. They kept two of the actors. Johnny Cage looks pretty similar. He gets killed almost instantly, so he wasn't...
I think he's more generically handsome in this.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But yeah, he's not in it enough for like that to take me out of the movie. It's also one of the movies where the acting is quite bad, but none of that makes the movie worse. Like, it's all part of it. Like, you're in this, I get it.
You're here to cackle and chew some scenery.
Yeah, and you're all doing it. Like, I can't complain. So the budget on this is wild to me. because there's moments in it where, like you mentioned, it's just a keyed-in lightning sky and everyone's got like a weird jagged line around them. Also, why are you filming people up towards the sky? You're at the temple. Just film the temple. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to have the big lightning sky in the background of every karate kick that you do. So there's moments like that, and then there's really impressive locations, and there's a moment where there's like 100-person army marching, because this movie cost $30 million, which was $10 million more than the last one, which makes me think, who was allocating the funds of this budget? Do you know what I mean? Just wildly mismanaged.
Well, at this point, I think maybe Mortal Kombat 3 had come out, so this was like, it was hot stuff.
It ties into that,
maybe
doesn't it?
most of the money went to the licensing.
Yeah, you might be right, Yeah, so the team splits up. All your favorites, they split up and they have little boring adventures.
Yeah.
And I would say this, I think there's actually some very competent martial arts and stunt work in this.
This one's better, I think.
Yeah, weird, right? So there's a quarry mud fight, which, by the way, mud fight with the two women. We see what you're doing. We know what you're up to. But there's some really like good falls and kicks in that moment. I'm not going to take it away from anybody involved in this. And I'll say this, a lot of the characters that they included, some big swings here. And some of them they've sort of pulled off. Scorpion's back, except he's got 2 harpoons, but they come from the same hand.
James, didn't he get his head sliced in half in the first one?
There's probably a second Scorpion.
Almost certainly.
Or he gets out of hell.
I just think there should have been a line. I super glued my skull back on. Now I'm fine,
A gorilla glued my skull back together. So Jax is back, but it's different Jax, and he doesn't have prosthetic arms. He's just got rubber arms that he's stuck over his regular arms.
Yeah, he's got arm sheaths.
Also, he's undergone some horrific procedure that he's just waking up from, and then he just can kind of like just pull them off like they're a pair of sleeves. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that wasn't the procedure. He had a prosthetic sample.
Okay, well then why is he lying on his back?
He just wanted a little rest afterwards.
Okay, fair enough. Takes it out of here. That was originally actually supposed to be Michael Jai White.
Ah, from Spawn and better movies.
Yeah, well, he went on to make Spawn. And he actually ends up playing Jax in something, which we will talk about towards the end.
Yeah.
So, there's an attempt at Nightwolf, Motaro, and Shiva.
What I love. So, obviously, in the previous one, we had Goro.
Yep.
An amazing technological feat at the time.
Definitely.
Still looked real janky.
Yeah.
But in this one, we have the succeeding sort of outworld mutant warlord characters. We had Shiva, who's like Girl Goro with the 4 arms, and we had Motaro, who's like a centaur guy.
Yeah.
But just looked like a guy who would chew your ear off about real estate at a party. He's got that vibe, you know?
He definitely did.
He's done a lot of cocaine.
Yeah. I was going to say, yeah. And to be fair, like, what they're doing with the Shiva with the comped-in arms, not always terrible, but also clearly there wasn't enough budget allocated to it because she meets her end by running into a room and then a cage like immediately falls on her. Yeah. We get various barakas.
I enjoyed very much that the one that fights Liu Kang is just a guy in just the worst rubber baraka mask, like a Halloween mask, and just like a baseball shirt.
Yeah, he is,
Maybe it was Baraka mask night at the baseball and he got a free mask, you know?
Here's something. I could do this Photoshop. Baraka Obama. I did Al Goro once on my Instagram, so maybe I'll knock that up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
One for every president. Yeah,
that's all right.
Yeah.
If you've got any suggestions, I'll do them all.
That's right.
Just leave them below. Yeah, James Remar's Raiden. He gets a haircut. He gives up his powers to turn up in a vest and be like, "I'm here now. I'm just one of you guys." Why did you do that? Why did you do that, Raiden? You could have
used your lightning
You
powers.
could have used all your lightning powers.
I liked how right at the start of the movie, all the heroes have to go on the run, and then Raiden's like, "Okay, all we have to do is reunite Sindel with Kitana, and that will end all this."
Yeah.
Well, if you knew that, could have done it 2 seconds ago.
Absolutely.
Did you only think about it now, Raiden?
I only thought about it now, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Well, do you currently have the powers of a God of Thunder?
I don't have any of that. I gave him up.
Yeah.
To wear this vest. And it's weird how he has like a complete kind of change of attitude when he comes back. He's like, the elder gods are important. There's a prophecy and whatever. The rules of Mortal Kombat have been broken. And he comes back and he's like, chill out, guys. I'm here. I'm just like you.
Hang loose.
Hang loose, man.
I think at one point they're like, do you want to do some takes where you do... Because remember in the previous one, Christopher Lambert, his Raiden is kind of a bit silly.
He's got a bit of loosey-goosiness to him.
And I think they maybe were like, hey, try James Remar, try a few takes where you're a bit loosey-goosey as well, but maybe they didn't work out so well, so they just...
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a bit of a mixed bag. Also, he later becomes Black Lightning's best friend in the TV series Black Lightning.
Oh, there you go.
So he's probably because he had form with lightning. They checked his resume and they're like, "Do you have an experience with lightning?" And he's like,
"Do I ever?
Oh.
The sparks were bloody flying when I was in Sex and the City. I'll tell you that much, mate. I dated Samantha in that series."
That's right.
So a big point of this movie is, if you could call it that, animalities. There was a moment in this movie where Liu Kang there's an animality fight, and I just remember watching it and just feeling embarrassment. And I don't know whether it was like
when you saw it originally, or do you
No,
mean
no,
recently?
I'd never seen this.
Uh-huh.
So watching this now,
Was anyone in the room with
well, that's
you?
the thing. I think it was like if my wife walked in, I'd have to be like, oh no, this is my this is my job, right? Like she knows that, but like I think she'd still be like,
No, she would have been like, up until this point, I thought it was your job, but now I'm having my doubts. I'm leaving.
Those animalities and just everything in this just speaks to like how bloodless and weak this movie is. Just an absolute just bottom barrel piece of shit. And it culminates in a final battle where some of the Mortal Kombat elders turn up and they're like, you've broken all the rules of Mortal Kombat. I declare Mortal Kombat! It's like, what? I thought there were rules. I thought they were being punished for trying to start a Mortal Kombat. So anybody can just get a Mortal Kombat going?
The punishment is Mortal Kombat!
It's like a Mexican wave where enough people get involved.
Yeah. You've been defeated in Mortal Kombat and now you've been sentenced to Mortal Kombat! Oh man, never should have agreed to Mortal Kombat. Now it's Mortal Kombat every day of the week. Sick of this, actually.
Like at the end now, the consequences are Shao Kahn turns into like an insect comes out of him, which is a thing in this. A few people have insects fly out of them. And Raiden's dad just like kind of folds into a box.
Yep, he sure does.
I don't know what's going on there. And, and Raiden's killed, but then he's back and they're like, do you want to be a weird spirit? We've got water, we've got fire. I guess you can just be dirt. I don't know what the elements of the outworld or the netherworld, I don't know what they're supposed to be or what they control.
And everyone went, hooray, Raiden's back. I mean, Johnny Cage is still dead.
Well,
he's over there on the ground there.
Well, speaking of, I want to talk about that. But before we do that, do you mind if we do Mortal Trivia?
What's that?
It's the trivia, but it's with a K.
I love it. Mortal Triviac?
Because we decided Mortal Trivia last week.
Did
remember?
we?
Yeah, we did already.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I mean, we can change it. I'm not married to it, basically.
Change it with a K?
Yes, we can. So
Triviality.
That's good.
Thank you.
You always think of better things. Like, I write down a thing, and then you come in and just fucking off the cuff think of a better thing. It's embarrassing.
You're editing all of this out, aren't you?
So, Mortal Kombat co-creator Ed Boon, he hated this film. Also, I think he plays Scorpion in this or something, maybe.
So he hated it, but he was in it.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I
Okay.
probably gave him money.
He's probably one of those guys who's got a clause in his contract where he can just, any adaptation of his work, he can just storm the set and just take over anyone's role he wants.
Just push someone down.
Yeah.
I'm Sonya now.
Yeah, that's right. Kick! Look at my kicks!
Also, this was Ray Park's first film role.
Oh,
as
later
he
become Darth Maul.
Yeah, that's right. And you probably saw him quite clearly because he's Raiden's stunt double. So you saw him, you probably figured that out because we see his face quite clearly in this movie. Also, if you add up all the back flips, front flips, and side flips, together there are 54 of them all up. I thought maybe Ben could put together a montage.
Nice.
No, wait, he's shaking his head. He doesn't.
Could it be to a song from the movie 54? Like some sort of disco jam?
We get stuck with the copyright
issue.
so, yeah.
Or maybe just a MIDI version of something.
No, Ben's shaking his head. He's not doing it. I can't.
How about 54 flips to total silence?
What do you think, Ben? Do you want to hear about Mortal Kombat 3, though?
Oh, so this is a Mortal Kombat 3 that never happened?
That never happened, that's right.
Yeah. Or are you springing a third movie on me for next week?
Oh my god, I hope not. So Mortal Kombat Devastation, it was going to be called. So yeah, the third movie was delayed indefinitely until it never came out.
So cancelled?
Yes, that's right. So Christopher Lambert was going to return, along with Lyndon Ashby, who played the original Johnny Cage.
That's right, yeah.
Johnny Cage was going to be resurrected to help the heroes against Quan Chi and a resurrected Shang Tsung.
Oh.
That's right. Production was halted when Hurricane Katrina destroyed most of the sets, and the film ultimately never happened. But there were some follow-ups to this, or some additional media, which ended up happening. So yeah, I don't know if you remember this, because I don't know if it ever aired in Australia, but there was a prequel series of sorts. It was also a prequel to the games called Mortal Kombat Conquest.
Yeah.
From 1998.
Now, is this the web series?
No, that's a different thing.
Yeah,
so
okay,
this was a one-season prequel series starring the original Kung Lao, and people hate it.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it was probably bad though. Then in 2011, after multiple attempts to revive this series, there was Mortal Kombat Legacy, the web series, which started as kind of like a proof of concept kind of thing, and then branched off into its own kind of series of vignettes.
So the original concept video, I think, was meant to be more of a realistic take on Mortal Kombat. There wasn't a lot of magic. Your Baraka was, I think, an insane surgeon who'd grafted swords to his arms or something like that.
Cool.
and it was meant to be no magic,
No guff.
just real gritty stuff. But then
Yeah.
I think the series itself became a bit more magical.
Yeah, which, yeah.
Yeah.
They did the right thing.
I think so too.
And then, of course, there are a few other attempts until, they're leading up to the 2021 movie.
Yes.
Yeah, so there we go. There's some Mortal Kombat movies that we've talked about. Some people call these the pinnacle of video game movies. Well, the first one at least. I say, bad. The second one makes the first one worse. It's a Highlander 2 situation.
Yeah, it is.
Christopher Lambert again, Mason.
That's right. He's done it again.
He's done it again somehow. Yeah, I'm glad you had a good time with it though.
Me too.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have had a bad time.
But sometimes people want to see these early. They're like, oh my God, I would love to see this early. You can actually if you go to bigsandwich.co and you sign up. But yeah, we also have bonus podcasts. We do movie commentaries. There's an ad-free feed of our show, The Weekly Planet.
That's right.
Which only comes out Monday, but it comes out Sunday then. And speaking of this upcoming episode, guess what we're talking about, Mason?
Tax reform.
No, I'll give you a clue.
Yep.
Think Mortal Kombat 2021, the movie. Think about that.
Tax reform as it relates to the movie Mortal Kombat
Correct.
2021.
Yes, exactly.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
where all the goddamn money went from this fucking movie. Where did it go, Mason? It certainly didn't go into the special effects in the sky.
I reckon it went into Ed Byrne's pockets.
Yeah, you're probably right. Hey, good on him. Edit point. Ben's going to put up one of those animations where it looks like a VCR is paused.
Yes.
We're putting this in after the fact, after we've recorded. Mortal Kombat has been pushed back a week, so we've got more room for Mortal Kombat content with a C. And we thought...
This is highly unusual, but all right.
And we thought, do you want us to look at the Mortal Kombat web series? And if you don't...
Vote now. Call us now.
Call us live.
That's right.
Lines are open. This isn't working.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Let's continue the video, maybe.
Okay, let's keep doing the video. Yeah.
Anyways, thanks for watching this. I'm at Mr. Sunday Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Wikipedia Brown on Twitter.
Leave a suggestion for a thing we will want to look at, and I will look at it. Then I'll get to it, all right?
Nice.
Okay, I'll put it on my list. I'll get to it. Give me something that my wife would be embarrassed.
I
would be embarrassed if my wife walks in.
Imagine something your wife would be embarrassed by.
Okay, goodbye.
Grab it, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Too bad you will die.